We have one more graph to do. So let's do this. I need all the quizzes brought up if they aren't already, guys. Because we're doing a graph right now, and that's on the quiz. So here we go.
Can I go through it?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so height is 3 and negative 3.
Okay, so on the vertical axis, we're going to put 3 and negative 3. Perfect.
And then we're going to divide 90, 180, 270, and 360 by 1/3.
By 2/3.
Well, yeah. I was gonna do
Let's get our picture first. What is our picture going to look
Our
like?
picture is going to start at the origin,
Yep.
go through the second one.
It's going to go down like this.
Why?
Why? Somebody tell me why my picture's going to do that. Because there's a negative out in front of it, right? So it's going to come down first. Now, you said, Mary Kate, that these labels should be these.
I messed up.
No, this was right. You said that's
On my
right.
quiz.
Oh, I'm sorry. So those should be the labels. But they're all going to be divided by 2/3. So let's just do that first one. 90 divided by 2/3 is the same as 90 times 3/2, right? So you'll have a calculator on the test, so you can go ahead and type that in, and what do you get?
270 divided by 2, so 180.
135. Are you using a calculator or just making up this as you go? Okay. So it's half of 90 is 45, and 45 times 3 is 135. Okay, then we'll do the same thing here. So we'll take 180 times 3/2, so that'll be 270. And then we'll take 270 times 3/2. I remember to turn this on. Oh, good. So 270 times, or no, what? 270 times 3/2 is, oh, what is that? It looks like 405, and then the last one will be 540. And that's my graph. Now, I have to list the period and amplitude. So what's my amplitude? 3. And what's my period? Now that I have a sketch, that's easy. The period is 540. All right, now this page, everything's on the calculator. I need the calculator for all of these problems. So convert to degrees, minutes, seconds. So we have 18.775 degrees, and we're converting that to degrees, minutes, seconds. Where did Gabe go? A long time ago. All right, here we go.
Maybe he got lost.
All right, type in 18.775. And then, anybody remember what we press next after we put in 18? We go to second angle or second apse and go down to DMS. And you should get 18 degrees, 46 minutes, and 30 seconds. Now, if you didn't get that, I want you to check and make sure you're in the right mode. This is a degree problem, so make sure, go to mode and make sure you're in degrees. Evaluate, round to the nearest 10,000. Now, some of these are in degrees and some of them are in radians. Okay? So right now my calculator is set in degrees. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to type in all the problems that are degree problems. So sine 2814, I'm going to type that in. This one's going to wait. This is a radian, so I'm going to wait on that. How do I know that's a radian? No degree sine. All right. Second cosine .376. What am I going to do with that one? Is that going to be a degree or a radian? Okay, I'll star it. Star means I'm waiting. Secant 19. That's a degree, so I'm going to go and type that in. I didn't write the degree mark. I should have. There it is. Cosine 98 degrees. And cosecant 15, 19, 11. So I'm going to do all of these first, and then we'll do those starred ones in a second.
I got .47.
Let me catch up to you. So you press sine 28 second angle. All right, so sine 28. Gabe, this could be what happens to you. You leave the room all the time. How many papers do you have there? You need to have 2. Yeah, you need to have 2 packets.
No, there's only one packet.
I know. So when you're not in your seat, you miss stuff. So try not to be gallivanting about.
I was on a treat last week. That's why I didn't get the packet.
No, everybody got the packet. It was on the trip. Yes, you did. And I don't even think they were handed out last week.
Guys, I think we should spread.
Yes, we should, but let's finish this problem first. So 28 degrees. So second angle degrees, 14 second angle minutes. What did you say you got?
.4730.
Actually, 3-1.
Yeah.
That's what I got too. Perfect. Does it tell me how to round? Yeah, 10,000. So that's 4 decimal places. Okay, we're skipping those. How do I type this in on my calculator?
-1.
No. 1 over. Yep, 1 over cosine. That's how I type it in. I physically type 1 divided by cosine 19. And I got 1.0576. All right, cosine 98, that's easy. Negative .1392. How about this one?
It's
1
alpha.
over
1 over sine. 1 over sine. 15, 19, 11. Remember, cosecant is the reciprocal of the sine. So 1 divided by sine, 15 second angle degrees, 19 second angle minutes, and 11 second angle. Oh, that's not right, is it? How do I do seconds? Alpha plus. 3.7849. 3.7849 is what I got when I divided that in. On your test, guys, there will be this block of problems just like this. So go through and identify which ones are degrees and which ones are radians. Then do all, it doesn't matter which group you do first, but do all of them that are degrees, let's say, and then change your calculator and do all of them that are radians, or vice versa. Don't try to switch back and forth problem to problem because it'll just get confusing. All right, we said these were radian problems, so I'm going to go ahead and change my calculator into radians. So once I'm changed, it's easy. Tangent 1.15 is 2.2345. And second cosine 0.376, 1.1853. Done. Okay, so those are just straight calculator problems, and those of you that don't bring a calculator, you're missing out on an opportunity to practice. Make sure you practice. Because I can't give you partial credit on these, because you're not doing anything except typing. All right, now we're going to find x. So these are the ones where you need to write an equation.
install or update
It
the
doesn't
program.
tell you to write an equation, but that's what you're gonna need to do to solve it. And the equation that you write will be either sine, cosine, or tangent. Okay? Now, look carefully at the angle. This is our angle now. So which side is this?
Adjacent.
Adjacent. Which side is this? So which function will we use since it's adjacent and hypotenuse? Cosine. So cosine x equals 11 over 14. Remember, the angle always goes with the cosine, or the sine, or the tangent.
The degree always goes with the word.
Yep. Yes, the degree goes with the word. That's right. Now, how do we solve that though? When they're hooked together like that, and that's the variable, don't do any math. Don't multiply by 14 or anything goofy like that. This is where we do second cosine. That's how you solve for x. The only way to break that x off of that cosine is to inverse it. So, I'm going to change my calculator back to degrees. And then second cosine, 11 divided by 14. 38.21. Yep. When you are finding an angle, when x is the angle, then you've got to use these buttons. That's the only way to do it. These are the buttons that give you an angle. So if you're looking for an angle, you're using those buttons. Okay? Oh, we got another one. Here we go. Okay, so once again, we need an equation. Pay attention. Which side is this?
Adjacent.
Adjacent. Which side is this?
Opposite.
Opposite. Which function will I use? Tangent. So tangent 28
Equals x over 13.
opposite over adjacent. So 13 over x. Opposite over adjacent. So we'll multiply by x and divide. Divided by tan 28, 24.45. All right, now we're going to draw a course. So, Ari, this is what you were asking about earlier. We're drawing a course. So we're using the compass. I even have it drawn there, the compass. But the labels on the compass are 0, 90, 180, 270. Those are the labels on the compass. So any problem that's using the compass, that's the setup. Okay? It's not every word problem. It's only the ones that talk about courses. All right, 118 degrees. Well, given what we have here, 0, 90, 180, wouldn't you agree that 118 would be like here? And we mark it just like that. So starting at due north, or 0, we mark it. Jada, the only thing worse than spending February with Mrs. Ford is spending June and July with Mrs. Ford. People who use their phone in class.
Jada would never.
I know what's going on.
Do not test her character like that. She would never.
She's sitting here on her phone right now.
I can't see it, so I'm not.
Well, I can, so stop it, Jada. Put
Can
it
you
away.
find God?
Okay,
Color, Ari.
now we're gonna do the same problem twice.
I think we deserve a participation grade today.
We're going to do it once by hand and once on the calculator. Now, if you want to just type it in on the calculator first, we can do that. We just type in exactly what it says. You don't even need to put in the parentheses. As soon as you hit sign, don't parentheses come up?
Yeah.
So you're good. So sine, second tangent, 2 divided by 5. And the calculator answer is this, 0.3714.
So is that the decimal answer?
That's the decimal answer, yes. That's the decimal answer. Now we're going to draw it by hand. So we're going to cover this up and look just at our parentheses. Since that's positive, we'll draw it in quadrant 1. So I'm drawing a picture of this right here. Forget this. Remember how we do this? We do the parentheses first. So the tangent is 2/5. Opposite over adjacent. Can we find the other side?
Yeah.
Okay, the Pythagorean Theorem would say a squared plus b squared equals c squared.
29.
So the square root of 29, don't forget the square root part. Now that's a picture of the parentheses. We want the sign. So what is the sign of that angle?
It's gonna be 2 over
2 root 29.
2 over root 29, which is 2 root 29 over 29. Remember, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Mary Kate, you might want to write down SOHCAHTOA at the top of your
I
page.
do every time, and I still don't know where adjacent and opposite are.
Can someone help her understand? I don't know what else to say.
It's
The
opposite.
angle is
Yeah.
always the one at the origin. So that's the angle you're looking at, unless you got an X already identified. Like this angle is already identified. But if you're creating your own picture, it's always at the origin.
Well, if you got 2 over 5, do you know where hypotenuse is supposed to be too?
Yeah, hypotenuse is always there. Was I finding sine there?
You're finding sine.
Oh, then I was just being dumb. I know where hypotenuse is. That
Okay.
doesn't change.
Okay, yeah, that doesn't change ever. You're
So
right.
can we pray that?
Yes. So this would be the exact answer, and this would be the decimal answer. Okay? So Mary Kate's going to pray because we're getting ready for our word problem, so we need to pray.
Unless anyone else wants to pray.
I do.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Can
awesome.
we do intentions first?
Sure.
I want to pray for Jonathan's family and Mario's family. And yeah. Anyone else?
I want to pray that Miss Ford is nice tonight when grading those papers.
Caroline?
My grandma got diagnosed with cancer earlier this month, so for him.
Annie?
Anyone struggling with COVID, and that we all have a good Valentine's Day.
For my mom, it's almost been 2 years since being cancer free, so she stays that way.
Anyone else? Hit it, William.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit, dear God, please watch over this math class and all of our grades. Please watch over Miss Ford. Make sure she has a good attitude when coming in class every day. Amen.
Okay, here we go. Let me show that good attitude. Number 13.
You might get some extra credit bonus points.
Okay, wait, I already let you use your pink sheet on the quiz. I made one question a bonus. Don't push your luck. Alright, the squirrel is sitting in the top of a tree
You shouldn't be able to.
Andy, you're just so comfortable.
that is 76 feet tall. Stop. The squirrel's in the top of a tree, 76 feet tall. He's looking at a nut on the ground. So here's the squirrel, here's the nut. His angle of depression is 37.8 degrees. Find the distance from the nut to the base of the tree. Does that picture make sense?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Oh wait, because isn't the angle of depression that way?
Okay, the angle of depression is technically right here.
Okay.
But notice, Mary Kate, that is not even in our triangle. This angle and this angle are always going to be congruent because of alternate interior. So I ask you to always mark your angles of elevation and depression right here. Every time, you're going to mark it right there.
Never mind. It's a good job.
Okay. So now I'm at the point where I need an equation. So here's my angle. I've got this side and this side. I do not have the hypotenuse. So I'm not going to use any function that uses hypotenuse, right? So what's the only one that doesn't? Tangent. So tangent 37.8 equals 76 over x.
Yeah.
So x tan 37.8, Chase, I hope you're paying attention here, look zoned out.
Don't doubt him.
So x equals 76 over tangent 37.8. So I think my calculator's in degrees. I'm going to do a quick check. Yeah. So 76 divided by tangent 37.8. 97.98 is probably feet. Let me do a quick check on that. Yes. Does anyone have a question about that?
I got 97.
You got what?
Yeah, I got the right answer.
Okay. Now, we have a seagull on top of a lighthouse. Hello, Mr. Candidate.
You want to do some math with us?
Something, something.
Just pray.
We have a seagull on the top of a lighthouse that spots a fish in the water below. The gull is 78 feet above sea level. Okay, now this is where we sometimes don't read carefully. It says the seagull is 320 feet from the fish.
That's the hypotenuse.
That's the hypotenuse. Because here's the seagull and here's the fish. So if we measured the distance between them, it would be the hypotenuse. So what was that, 320? Find the angle of depression.
Okay, so
Sorry, no.
what would it be if it was like adjacent?
Find the distance from the fish to the base of the lighthouse.
That would be adjacent.
Because that's the base of the lighthouse. All right, so what function do I want? Sine. So this time it's sine x, sine angle, equals 78 over 320. When it is sine x, do not do math. Go straight to the calculator and type second sine 78 over 320. If you are looking for an angle, you must do second something. In this case, it's sine. Yep, 14.11 degrees is the answer to the question. Good job. These questions all look familiar to me.
Because you made them.
Okay. All right, so how far is an airplane from the airport? All right, so we have an airplane up here. and we have the airport down here. He's coming in for a landing. He is currently 6,543 feet above the ground. So here he is up in the air. This is how high he is. And the angle of depression is 23 degrees. And the question is, how far is the plane from the airport? So what's the x? The hypotenuse. Kids, here's the plane, here's the airport. Isn't that how far he has to go? That's how far apart they are, yep. All right, what function?
Tangent.
Mary Kate, this is the hypotenuse. Does tangent use hypotenuse? No, it's sine. So sine 23 equals 6,543 over x. Now, is this one where I'm going to use my second sine button? No, I only use my second sine button when the x is with the sine, right? So here I'm going to multiply by x. And divide. So 6,543 divided by sine 23. Six, 543 divided by sine 23. Ooh, it's a big number. 16,745.53 feet. All right.
Yeah, I was just bored.
You know what?
Tired of math?
It's been a real, no, I'm never tired of math, but I'll tell you, it's been a really long couple weeks.
Do you think you're gonna teach the rest of your life?
Well, I hope I live long enough, I don't know. The height of a flagpole, find the height of a flagpole, there we go. Find the height of a flagpole that makes a shadow 31 feet long when the angle of elevation is 29 degrees. Now, does everybody understand why I put the shadow down there?
Yeah.
Because that's where shadows are on the ground. So, sine, cosine, or tangent? Tangent. So tan 29 equals x over 31. I'll multiply by 31 because I'm trying to get x by itself, and that will do it. Now x is by itself. So 31 tan 29, 17.18. Feet. Yep. You feel like you're getting a Yep. Feel like you're getting a handle on this?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. What is the angle of elevation of a man looking at the top of a building that is 84 feet tall? So let's go. Here we go. The building is 84 feet tall. I want to know the man's angle. And he is standing 1,234 feet from the building. That's right here, right? It'd be tangent. So 1, 2, 3, 4, it's going to be tangent. It doesn't say he's 1, 2, 3, 4 from the top of the building. It says from the building. So if I measured my distance from where I am to the back wall, it would be this distance right here that I would measure. So that is tangent, as Ella said. But it's tan x, right? Uh-oh. That means no math. That means straight to the calculator. So tangent equals 84 over 1, 2, 3, 4. So x equals second tangent 84 over 1, 2, 3, 4. When you have this kind of problem, you use that button. That's different than this. See the difference? Different. So second tangent, 84 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4. Did you say 3.89?
Yeah.
Yep, you're right. So that angle is 3.89 degrees.
It's a small angle.
Small angle. Guess what's on the next page? Another practice test.
We
Here
take
we
like some
go.
like deep breaths. I think that may help.
We've had a lot of deep breaths. But if you need to stand up and take a deep breath, go ahead. I'm gonna keep right on going.
All gas, no brakes with you today.
Change into degrees. Change into degrees, 7 pi over 10. All right, this is easy, especially since you'll have a calculator. You're gonna do what? How we change this into degrees. Isaac, did you hear me yelling at Jada?
Yeah, I thought we were having a break.
No, there is no break. Put the phone in your backpack. Under your leg does not
Nice.
work because
Now you made
you're
her mad.
too distracted. Ella?
Would you do, 180 times 7 divided by 10?
Yep. I would do 180 divided by 10 times 7, but the order doesn't matter. So what do you get when you do that?
126.
126 degrees?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, you can't mess it up, Mary Kate. 7 times 180 divided by 10. You can't miss it.
yeah, I used my calculator, and then I saw it said no calculator.
Well, with this one, I'm going to let you use it for this because I didn't plan this problem very carefully. There's some arithmetic there. But I do think you should be able to take 180 divided by 10
Oh, no, yeah, I agree with you. I
And
just
get
put it in a
18,
different way.
and then times by 7. I really do think you should be able to do that without a calculator. But anyhow, change into radians. Pi over 180 equals x over 200. When we have to change into radians, we set up our proportion, and then we'll cross multiply. So I got 200 over 180. Now you want to reduce that. So remember, you can cancel out these zeros. Now we have 20 over 18. They're both divisible by 2, so I got 10 pi over 9.
What happens to the x? It's what it equals.
I was figuring out what x is. That is x.
Okay.
I was figuring out what it equals. Okay? Alright, now we got a hard one. Or harder. Because it's a two-part question. Or it's a two-step process. The angle is 100 degrees. The radius is 8 feet. And I want to find the arc length. So when I say arc length, something should pop into your head. Radius times radians. Now we've got a bit of a problem because we have the radius.
Pretty S.
We have the radius, but we do not have the radian measure of the angle, right? So we're going to have to do what we just did here with 200. We're going to have to do it with 100. So pi over 180 equals what over 100? That what is what's going to go here. So 180x equals 100 pi. And this time I have 100 over 180. So the zeros cancel. 10 over 18 would be 5 over 9. By pi over 9, I should say. Now, what's that? That's the radian measure. So that is going to get times by 8. So when you multiply these, think of the 8 as 8 over 1 and go straight across.
40 n over.
So 40 pi over 9. and that would be feet, just like the problem was, or the radius was.
And that's the arc.
That's the arc. The arc is the radius times the radians. If you don't have the radians, you need to get the radians, and then do radius times radians. Okay, 2 parts to that. Now, I don't have candygrams today after school, so we can just keep right on working as long as you want to.
Let's go.
Deal or no deal?
We can all just end early.
So sine theta equals 2/5. So this is another one of those where we have to find everything. So we're going to do cosine tangent. Cosecant would be 5/2. Secant
We haven't seen those in a minute.
and cotangent.
I need it.
So would you use the Pythagorean theorem?
We're going to do the Pythagorean theorem as soon as I draw my triangle.
Okay.
So to draw my, yes, we're definitely going to do the Pythagorean theorem. But in order to draw the Pythagorean, or to do the Pythagorean theorem, I have to have a triangle. And I have to know where to draw it. They tell me, believe it or not, it says 90 less than theta less than 180. So think about how we label angles. This is not a compass. So we start here and go like this. So where are we talking about if we're between 90 and 180? Quadrant 2, right? Jada says quadrant 2, and she is right. Now, Ella, since I have my triangle, I'll make 2, 5, opposite hypotenuse, and now I'm going to do the Pythagorean theorem.
So you would do x squared plus 2 squared equals 5 squared?
Exactly. Exactly. And tell me what you get, Ella, when you get that worked out. Square root of 21. Because basically it's 25 minus 4, right? And it would be negative because it's in quadrant 2. All right? So now we're ready to fill in the blanks. So, Mary Kate, you might want to recognize this is adjacent,
Yeah.
this is opposite. So now that will help you maybe fill these in. So cosine is negative root 21 over 5. Tangent is negative 2 over root 21, which is negative 2 root 21 over 21. Secant is 5 over negative root 21, which is negative 5 root 21 over 21. And cotangent is negative root 21 over 2. Does anybody have a question about that?
What's your favorite class you've ever taught?
Pre-calculus.
No, like year.
Oh, year? Oh, there have been several favorites, yeah.
Worst?
Yeah, I've never thought about it, but there probably is a worst one out there. I've just never thought about it. I prefer to think about the wonderful ones that I had.
What's the hardest math problem you've ever solved?
Oh,
No, I've asked it once and she didn't answer.
All right, here we go.
It just brings back her repressed
Every
memories
time
she
I
has in her
ask.
brain.
Find the exact value. Find the exact value. We're going to finish this section here. So, this page. So, we're going to do cotangent 300.
Got it, little.
This is with a calculator, right?
No, this is still no calculator. So, cotangent 300. The first thing we're going to do is draw 300. Now, is there anybody who has a question about why I put 300 there? 90, 180, 270, a little bit past 270. So there's my triangle. How big is this angle? Now remember, That's 300 and that's 360.
60.
So that's a 60. And this then is root 3, 1, and 2, because those are the sides of a 30, 60, 90. Is anything negative? Root 3 is negative. Cotangent. TOA is opposite over adjacent. So cotangent would be adjacent over opposite. So 1 over negative root 3 or negative root 3 over 3. There is a lot of processing in that problem. Does anybody have a question about how I got that answer? Oh my goodness. Sine of negative 420. We might end with this one because this is a doozy. Sine of negative 420.
So you're gonna draw a cross, and then it's gonna go all the way around once.
Okay, and it's going to go this way because it's negative, right? So it's going to go all the way around. Okay, so how much have I done?
You've done 360.
I've done 360. So how much more do I have to go? 60 more? And you got to keep going in the same direction. So this is a 60-degree angle right here. Would you agree with that? Because I went all the way around and an extra 60. So this is root 3, and this is 1, and this is 2, and that's negative again. Same picture I had down here. Different angle, but same picture. I want the sine. So the sine would be opposite over hypotenuse, negative root 3 over 2. And that's our answer.
Yay!
All right, so we'll stop there. So we have one more class period to review.